Good morning everyone. I'm Tanya Tikorila. Today I'm going to discuss about there is no unique solution to the problem of determination of price and output under oligopoly. First of all, we'll see what is an oligopoly. Oligopoly is a market structure with a small number of firms, none of which can keep the others from having significant influence. The consideration ratio measures the market share of the largest firms. A monopoly is one firm, a duopoly is two firms, and oligopoly is two or more firms. There is no price upper limit to the number of firms in an oligopoly, but the number must be low enough that the actions of one firm significantly influence the others. Now let's see the examples for oligopoly. Mobile telecommunication sector, for an example, Dialog Mobitel. TV media sector, for an example, Hiru Deranam. Air travel industries, for an example, Emirates American. Automobile manufacturers, for an example, Toyota Nissan. Oligopoly is interdependence of the various firms in the decision making. This fact is recognized by all the firms in an oligopolistic industry if a small number of sizable firms constitutes an industry and one of these firms starts advertising campaign on a big scale or designs a new model of the product which immediately captures the market. It will surely provoke counter moves on the part of rival firm in the industry. Second one, advertising. Under oligopoly, a major policy change on the part of a firm is likely to have immediate effects on other firms in the industry. Therefore, the rival firms remain all the time vigilant about the moves of the firms which takes initiative and makes policy changes. Thus, advertising is a powerful instrument in the hands of an oligopolistic. A firm under oligopoly can start an aggressive advertising campaign with the intention of capturing a large part of the market. Other firms in the industry will obviously resist its defensive advertising. Third one, group behavior. In oligopoly, the most relevant aspect is the behavior of the group. There can be two firms in the industry, or two or more for 15, but not few or 100. Whatever the number, it is quite small so that each firm knows that its action will have some effect on other firms in the groups. In construct, under perfect competition, there are a large number of firms, each attempting to maximize its profit. Fourth one, it is competition. This leads to another feature of the oligopolistic market, the presence of competition. Since under oligopoly there are few sellers, a move by one seller immediately affects the rivals. So each seller is always on the alert and keeps a close watch over the moves of its rivals in order to have a counter move. There is true competition. True competition consists of the life of contract struggle, rival against rival whom one can only find under oligopoly. Fifth one, barriers to entry of firms. As there is keen competition in an oligopolistic industry, there are no barriers to entry into or exit from it. However, in the long run, there are some types of barriers to entry which tend to restrain new firms from entering the industry. And the sixth one is lack of uniformity. Another feature of oligopoly market is the lack of uniformity in the size of firms. Firms differ considerably in size. Some may be small, others very large. Such a situation there is very common in the American economy. In this situation, with firms of uniform size is rare. There is no general theory which can explain pricing and output decisions in all kinds of oligopoly situations. Thus, it is said that price and output under oligopoly is interdependent. There is due to independence of other firms and absence of well-defined goods. However, the price of a commodity is determined by its demand and supply. In monopoly and competition, firms make decisions and take action without considering how these actions will affect other firms and how in turn other firms' reactions will affect them. Thus, they have defined demand curves. In a perfectly competitive model, each firm ignores the reaction of other firms because each firm can sell all that it wants at the going market price. In the pure monopoly model, the monopolistic does not have a worry about the reaction of rivals since by definition there are none. Professor Miller said that. In case of oligopoly, there is interdependence of the firms. Hence, the decisions of a firm will affect the other firms, which in turn will react in a way that affects the initial firm. This causes uncertainty. Thus, it is difficult to take decisions of demand curve of an oligopolistic. We cannot use the downward sloping curve as oligopolistic. It is not a monopolistic. We cannot use a horizontal demand curve because the oligopolistic is not a perfect competitor. We can simply make an assumption about the interaction among the oligopolistic. There is a new model of price determination under oligopoly. The inability of an oligopolistic so firm to predict with certainty the reaction of its rivals make it virtually impossible to estimate the demand and marginal revenue data faced by an oligopolistic. So, without such data, firms cannot determine their profit maximizing price and output. For the interdependent price and output under oligopoly, there is reasons behind that. Let's see what are them. The first one, complicating behavior. In oligopoly, due to interdependence, different behavior becomes possible. According to the Professor Baumol, under the circumstances, a very wide variety of behavior patterns become possible. Rivals may decide to get together and cooperate in the pursuit of their objectives so far as the law allows, or at the extreme they may try to fight each other to death. Even if they enter into agreement, it may last or it may break down, and the agreement may follow a wide variety of patterns. There is not a single model of analyzing price output determination under oligopoly. The second one, interdependent demand curve. Another cause of interdependence of price and output in oligopoly is interdependent demand curve. We know that each firm closely watches the actions of other firms because the actions of one can dramatically affect the other. Due to the interdependence, an oligopolistic firms cannot have a definite demand curve since it keeps shifting in response to the reactions of rivals. Professor Baumol has observed that. Third one, profit maximization is not only the motive. The motive of the profit maximization as followed by firms in the perfect competition and monopoly enables the firms to have a determinate solution to the price output problem. At the same time, in oligopoly, the firms may have other motives like sales maximization, security maximization, and etc. Fourth one, different intellectual agreements. The industries accepting oligopolistic organization differ widely in their intellectual arrangements of different firms. In practice, there may be as many varieties of arrangement as the number of industries, as William Fernier has observed that. There may be a recent gentleman's agreement among them to follow the particular policies. Firms may decide to follow a dominant or low-cost leader from many others. The first one, the stage of development of industry will determine entrepreneurial knowledge and market condition. And the second one, it depends upon the relative size of the various firms in the industry. Fifth one, oligopolistic interdependence. The most outstanding factor that differentiation of an oligopoly from monopolistic competition is the interdependence between various firms in their decision making. Every firm under oligopoly knows that at least some of his rivals' decisions depend on his own behavior, and it must take the fact into account in his which own decision making. So, from above these explanations, it is clear that since there is no single solution to the price and output problems in oligopoly, the price is said to be interdependent. To Coit, who say there is no theory of oligopoly in sense that there is theory in perfect competition or monopoly. There is no unique general solution but merely many different behavioral models, each of which reaches a different solution. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.